Hey guys, Yvonne here at Inspirational Growth. So today I'm going to go ahead and start a little mini-series about being successful while dealing with depression. Now I personally have dealt with depression ever since I was in junior high. So about 7th grade is when I started to really notice that I was thinking differently, feeling differently, and acting differently. But I hid it away from my friends, my family members, and I kept it very, very buried down deep so nobody would ever find out. And I wasn't able to, I didn't know how to cope with it, I didn't know how to build myself from it, and I didn't know how to detach myself from depression as well. So it led into several years of dealing with depression, self-harm, and even a few suicide attempts. But as you can see now, I'm actually trying to build something of myself. I'm trying to become successful, and I'm trying to launch myself into a better stage of my life while still dealing with depression. So I want you guys to know that it is possible, and it is a very real situation that you can fight depression and be successful while dealing with depression. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and give you guys this mini series and these tips and advice in order so that way you're able to fight depression and become successful while battling depression as well. So my very, very first tidbit of advice with anybody dealing with depression is that you have to see a better future. And what do I mean by that? Well, C is a 3-letter word, and those 3 letters stand for something. So S stands for sleeping, E stands for eating, and the other E stands for exercising. So sleeping. When I was dealing with my depression, I slept a ton, and I also didn't sleep any as well. So you guys have to find the right balance of your sleep schedule. Usually I try to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and that's what makes me feel good. It could be different from anybody else, but that's kind of the range that is the average for every human being, and it's a pretty healthy range. You don't want to sleep too much and you don't want to sleep too little, so that way you can become productive throughout the day as well. And then eating. Tortillas for days! Also, you have to find the right balances as there too, because when I was also in the midst of all this huge depressive episodes that I had, I didn't eat a lot and I lost a lot of unhealthy weight and I looked pretty scrawny. But then I also, at times I would eat a ton, and then I also gained a lot of weight and I looked really chunky as well. So you have to find a good balance. And then the last E is exercise. Gotta get your protein in, bro! Ah! And this is one of my number one pick for anybody who is dealing with depression and fighting depression, is that exercising is an important step in fighting depression. And that is because the act itself is actually physically changing your brain. It releases dopamine levels, it increases that, and because of that, it changes your thought process. It keeps you positive, it keeps you motivated. And then also, reaching goals or achieving something makes you feel better about yourself. Whenever you see that you're growing or developing or changing your physicality at all, it makes you feel better about yourself. Whenever I'm in the gym and then I see that I'm either going faster or lifting heavier weights or able to sustain the exercise for longer, I'm noticing growth and I'm seeing achievements made, and that makes me feel better about myself. So that's also a good tidbit. So remember, you got to see a better future. You got to sleep, keep balancing your sleeping, keep balancing your eating, and start exercising. And you don't even have to start big. You can just go out for a tiny walk. Being out in nature or just walking around also still increases your dopamine levels and keeps you positive. Number 2, and I can't, this is really important. You have to understand, this is really important. Having a support system. Having a support system is huge. It is huge, guys, because I actually didn't start making strides to changing, to becoming better until I officially started talking to somebody. And that person was able to send me to different resources or send me to places or send me to other people that was able to help me push further to find more tips and find more advice to deal with my depression and fight my depression and fight depressive episodes. And so what I want you guys to kind of see it in a 2-level way. So your first support system is probably going to be family and friends. And that's really, really good, but don't stop there. What you want to do, you want to go ahead and go to the second level, which is professional support. And I highly recommend too, because even though your family members and friends mean the best for you and will absolutely support you dealing with this illness, they're probably not professionally educated in dealing with somebody with depression or have the tools to help people deal with depression. So even though sometimes having the support of your family or friends is really, really good and really important, you also want to go see a professional, a counselor, a psychologist, psychologists to help you even more. And then number 3, and this is important that you consistently and constantly do this. To listen, read, and watch self-help stuff. And I'm not saying this just to advertise my channel and for you to keep going. I want you, because I don't just constantly watch one person or read one person or listen to one person. I read, listen, watch anything that I can get my hands on, anything that I can put in front of me, anything that I can listen to. And I do that constantly, and I do it consistently, because that positivity that people are throwing out into the world helps you stay in a positive mindset and helps you grow. It pushes you further. Consistently listening, watching, hearing this stuff, it gets into your mind permanently. It's kind of like one of those things where you hear a song a couple times and then it's just kind of stuck. Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. It's the same thing with this knowledge. It stays in your mind and it's just stuck, and it goes over and over and over again. And it's kind of the same thing how if a bully attacks you and says something over and over again, it stays in your mind. You want to fill your mind, instead with negativity, you want to fill it with positivity, so that way it just keeps going over and over and over again. But don't just stop at one viewing, don't one podcast, one book. Continuously and consistently every single day work on feeding your mind with self-help and with self-growth and self-development material. Also keep watching Inspirational Growth. All right, number 4, knowing what is going to push you, knowing what your triggers are to your depressive episodes or a certain mindset. It's really important that you understand what pushes you over the edge or what starts you from going over the edge, because you can, at that point, to avoid certain situations or certain people, or whenever that situation comes up, that whenever that mindset does happen, you're able to combat and you're able to think differently, and you're able to, okay, this is what's happening, this is what I'm thinking, but this is what I want to think, and I'm going to keep on thinking on that positive road. So you're able to avoid the situation, or whenever the situation does come, able to combat it as well. So that's why it's really, really important to know what your triggers are. Number 5, you are not your depression. Don't connect your identity and who you are with your mental illness. It's really important, because sometimes we feel alone, we feel like we're not going anywhere, we feel like we're not growing, and then we feel like since we're alone and nobody understands, that maybe this is just us, or maybe this is just me. And it's really, really important that you understand that it's not you, and it's not just your mind. It's the depression that's talking, and you have to at one point acknowledge that is just a mental illness. That is something that you're fighting, but it is not you, and it is not your identity. You are your own person. You are an individual human being that has their own passions, that has their own dreams, that has their own goals. And you want to find individuality in yourself. A good way to cut off that tie from identifying with your depression,
I'll cut you, man, I'll cut you,
is going after your passions, or finding something new and building yourself, or finding your uniqueness, and just keep on building and just keep on getting better. I know your depression is going to make you not want to do those things, but you have to keep on fighting, and you have to keep on fighting your own individuality to cut off those ties and stop identifying as your depression. Alrighty guys, so I said this is part 1 of being successful fighting with depression. I'm going to go ahead and make a second video pretty soon, maybe hopefully sooner than just next week, so that way they're a little bit closer together. But if you guys have any tidbits or advice of your own that you'd like me to talk about, or maybe if you guys would like for me to go in depth with every single one of these tips, if you guys want to have an individual video for every one of these tips, go ahead and leave a comment or something like that, and that way I'm able to give you guys what you want. Just know that with any kind of depression, that you have people out there supporting you guys, you have people out there fighting for you guys, fighting with you guys, and you have people that are proud of you guys for getting this far, because like I said, and like I said before, it is hard to get this far, and it's hard to give your courage to be able to continue to fight every single day. And I understand that, because I've been there and I'm continually doing that myself. So just know that I am super proud of you guys for making it this far, and I know that you are going to keep on making it further. Alrighty guys, so if you want to go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and hit that link right there. Or if you guys want to go ahead and watch another video on my channel, go ahead and hit that link right there. And then also, I just added my Instagram and my Twitter on my YouTube channel as well, so you can follow me there, so that way you can also continually watch or read some inspirational, motivational, self-development stuff. Alright guys, see you in the next video.